Today, story title is The Missing Fortune, The Taken Sapphire. It was a cool evening when Inspector James Hunt showed up at the Elmwood house. The proprietor, Mrs. Whitmore, greeted him with sad face. "Inspector, my family sapphire has been taken," she shouted. "It was gotten in a glass case in my library, and at this point it's no more," James said calmly. "Who was in the house the previous evening?" "Just my young son Edward, my niece Clara, and the attendant Mr. Finch," she answered. James guaranteed her, "You no need to worry, I'll figure out who took it." Exploring the suspects. James began his inspection by watching out for the three individuals in the house. Edward, Mrs. Whitmore's young son, was a tall man in his late 20s. He told James, "I was in my room all night to do Sruti. I don't have any reason to take the sapphire. It will be mine one day." Notwithstanding, James saw Edward feel uneasy. After a few minutes, he learned Edward had betting habits and required cash urgently. Clara, Mrs. Whitmore's young niece, said she had been in the library to study. She looked pained during the questioning, and James saw she was wearing an inexpensive copy of Sapphire locket. He doubted whether she had something to stow away. Mr. Finch, the attendant, told James he had been in the kitchen and after this go to sleep. "I've served this family from a long time, Inspector. I could never mislead them," he said unequivocally. Evidence in library. Then James checked the library again from where the sapphire was taken. The glass case was broken, yet he tracked down no indications of forcefully break-in. He saw scratch checks close to the window, which made him figure somebody could have opened it to get in or out. As James kept on researching, he heard Edward and Clara argument wildly in the hall. "You're always interfering in my business," Edward shouted. "Moreover, you're destroying your life in betting," Clara shot back. James started to envision that there was more occurring than anybody was yielding. Reality emerges. That night, James called everybody into the drawing room. "I've settled the case," he said with confidence. Firstly, he went to Edward. "You have a ton of betting loan. Did you take the sapphire to manage them?" Edward's face became red. "No, I didn't take it," he stammered. Then James checked Clara out. "You're looking stressed, and you're wearing a copy of inexpensive sapphire locket. Maybe you wanted to replace inexpensive locket with expensive locket?" Clara began crying. "I didn't take it," she cried. At long last, James watched out for Mr. Finch. "For what reason did you open the study window the previous evening?" The steward looked shocked, but he clarified, "I opened it to tidy up the room. That is all, sir. I took nothing." The secret reveal. Everybody looked surprised when James unexpectedly took out the missing sapphire from his jacket pocket. "I tracked down this kept secretly in the library," he said, going to Clara. "For what reason did you conceal it there?" Clara's face turned pale. She faltered, then gave up. "I conceal it since Edward was looking at offering it to pay his loan. It's a family fortune, and I was unable to allow him to do that. I never wanted to bring such a lot of trouble." Mrs. Whitmore embraced Clara positively. "You ought to have told me, dear, but I understand you did this for family heritage. I feel proud on you, dear." Edward looked down, embarrassed about his activities. The attendant stayed, but he showed understanding gesture to Clara. Good ending. As James seemed to leave, Mrs. Whitmore thanked to him happily. "You've found the sapphire as well as assisted us with going toward reality concerning ourselves." James smiled. "Watch it this time." As he drove away, James felt satisfied. Taking care of mysterious case was thrilling experience, but assisting families with fixing their family problems was the biggest achievement. I hope you people like this video. Subscribe my channel and turn on notification bell icon. See you soon with another interesting story. Till then, stay happy.